Welcome back, trainers. So we have new Gen 5 Pokemon. I would have had this video up sooner, but I had to get out there and experience it myself and do a few of these raids in preparation for a few lucky trades that I have lined up here, especially with Conkeldurr. This one is going to be a good one. You guys are definitely going to want to pursue. We'll go over that more towards the end of the video. So yes, you can now trade Pokemon, specific ones, and it will not cost you any candies once you do evolve them. We're going to go over the list here as well. So we do have this nice image made by Couple of Gaming here. So if you're a little bit lost, I'm going to break this down for you. First off, let's go over the Pokemon that are going to cost you 0 candies once you do trade them. Now, as you can see, we have Kadabra, Machoke, Graveler, Haunter. We've had those Pokemon in the game. You've probably done trades with them in the past. If you're still holding on to these specific ones, the middle stage here, you're going to be able to evolve them, and it's going to cost you 0 candies to do so. And for the new Gen 5 Pokemon, as far as 0 candies after you do trade them, you have Boulder, Conkeldurr, Karrablast, and Shelmet. So the one that you're going to want to focus on 100% is going to be Conkeldurr into Conkeldurr. Yes, you have Lucario in that #1 spot, but Conkeldurr is going to still be a good option. We're going to take a look at that. So taking a look at a few of my Pokemon personally, we have the Haunter, which I've had traded a while back, which is going to be staying in the Great League. It's going to cost 0 candies, as you can see. And if you do have the other Pokemon, we have Conkeldurr here that hasn't been traded quite yet. It is going to cost me 200 candies. So keep that in mind. You're definitely going to want to do a mirror trade for that one. And say you have Pokemon that you've traded a while back that can benefit from this trade with these 0 candies. Are they still going to be eligible? Absolutely. The Haunter we're looking at was traded a while ago, way before this update, and it is still eligible. Niantic even went out and said that, yes, your older Pokemon are still going to be able to evolve for 0 candies before this event if you did do that trade. Now, also, if you do have a basic stage, this was tweeted to me, you're still going to be able to trade them at that first stage and then get that cut for the candies. I wouldn't even say cut, the complete reduction of the candies for their evolution if they are eligible. All right, so taking a look at the new Gen 5 Pokemon spawning in the wild here, we have Rock'n'Rolla, Temple, Dwebble, Trubbish, Karrablast, Joltik, and Shelmet. As far as the regional Pokemon, we have Throw, which is going to be in North America, South America, and Africa, as well as in those 10-kilometer eggs for that specific region. You're not going to be able to go out there and hatch these out of 10 kilometers unless you're there getting them. And then for the other rival fighter, we have Sock, which is going to be in Europe, Asia, and Australia, as well as in those 10-kilometer eggs. And then for Maractus, we're going to have that one in Southern United States, Mexico, Central America, the Caribbeans, and South America. Sigilith is going to be in Europe and Greece. That's going to be a fun one to get my hands on. And then finally, for the new regional Pokemon, we have Basculin. Now, these are not going to be shiny Pokemon. They're just 2 different colors. We have one in the Western Hemisphere, which is going to be the blue, and then the red is going to be in the Eastern Hemisphere. All right, now as far as new Gen 5 Pokemon, let's go ahead and see which ones are going to be hatching out of what eggs. So we have for the 2-kilometer eggs, Venipede and Dwebble. And then out of the 5-kilometer eggs, Rock'n'Rolla, Temple, Trubbish, Karrablast, Joltik, and Shelmet. Out of the 10-kilometer eggs, we have Timber, Tortuga, Arkin, and Axew. Now, I'm going to give you a little warning right now. I feel like Axew, all the way up into Haxorus, is going to be a community day. So don't get too hyped if you hatch one and all of a sudden put your rare candies into it, evolve it all the way up, power it up. Don't do that, all right? You're better off just going with your Rayquazas, going with your Salamence, going with your Dragonites, or whatever other dragons you do have currently. It's not going to say it's going to be horrible, but we've went over it before, right? And rest assured, I will be bringing you guys in-depth stuff on all of these Pokemon. So go ahead and screenshot this right here. This is going to be their 100% IVs out of the eggs. And then the Timber, that's going to be 100% IV boosted with that stamp over it. Now let's go ahead and take a quick overview look at all of the new Gen 5 Pokemon added with their evolutions and kind of focus on which ones you want to really go after. And I'm going to just stop beating around the bush and tell you Timber. Straight up Timber. Okay, everything else is going to be mediocre. Throw, Sock, not that great. I'm going to tell you there's going to be better fighting types. Basculin, it's just a dex filler. Now, as far as Seismitoad, I couldn't really see too much usability. It's going to be okay in specific situations. Its pre-evolution might perform okay completely maxed out, but that's in another situation, very circumstantial. Gigalith, Another one that it can be very circumstantial yet again. It's not going to be some sort of horrible Pokemon, but it's definitely not going to be top meta relevant. And for a quick visual here, as you can see, Gigalith is going to be pretty far behind as a pure rock type attacker. Moving on to some more of the Gen 5 Pokemon here. Do you want to pursue a lot of these Pokemon as hard as you can? Not really. Of course you want Axew candies. Of course you want to get Excalibur. That one's actually going to be pretty good. Archeops, unfortunately it's sub. Let's just say that it's not going to be the top of the top. It's going to be great as far as attack, but the moves are just not there. And as far as everything else, Gargantua, I mean, these things are going to be okay. As far as PvP, it's going to get very specific as to where they're going to perform very good, but we're going to get more into that in the future. Just hang tight. We'll get to it. All right, now let's get into the fun stuff here. Seeing that we have this new trade system in which some specific Pokemon, this is going to include Gurtier, which is going to be the evolved form from Timber, and then Gurtier is going to go into Conkeldurr. So from Gurtier to Conkeldurr without a trade, 200 candies, pretty crazy, right? It's going to be a pretty tanky Pokemon, very good. Is actually going to be outpacing Lucario as far as TDO, not actual damage. It's going to be able to stay in the fight longer, therefore doing more damage, but Lucario with more of them on your team is going to actually give you a better damage output at the end of the day. So Lucario is still going to be winning, but what happens to Machamp? What happens to Machamp? Well, you will be able to trade for the Machoke and then evolve it. It's not going to take you any candies. I say Machamp is going to be the OG fighter, not just because it was good to us for so many months, years as a matter of fact, but it's still going to be the cheapest and best option as far as the quickest to get. Less resources, because to get this one, you're going to have to raid. You're going to have to hatch it. They're not going to be in the wild as of now that I know of, right? And then it's going to cost you 200 candies if you don't have anybody to mirror trade. That's going to be your best bet. A lucky mirror trade with a Gurtier or a Timber, because like we went over, it doesn't matter if you evolve it at the basic stage or stage 1, you will still get that complete reduction of candy when you do evolve it into that final stage Conkeldurr. So don't have to worry about that. If you like want a mirror trade and somebody's already evolved one, tell them to come back with a Timber, and you guys can do that evolution if you don't want to pour the rare candies into it. But I personally did anyways, just because I am an impatient person and I just wanted to see it and actually have it as my buddy, because I do want Conkeldurr. It's going to be a fun Pokemon to have for sure. But we're going to look at the numbers here. But like going back to Machamp, that one is still pretty solid because it's the easiest to get. You can find them in the wild. You can get them weather boosted. You can just, you probably have a bunch of candies lying around to power them up, but not necessarily for the evolution after the trades, right? But Lucario and then Conkeldurr are just going to be a bit difficult to obtain. So taking a look at the 3 best fighters currently, there are going to be other Pokemon fighting type that are going to have a little bit higher attack or about the same, but these ones are the most solid, right? Machamp, the prior king, and then Lucario took over, and then Conkeldurr comes in here and is actually kind of in between. It's going to be performing good, but Lucario is going to be a little bit better. But you're looking at the attack on the Conkeldurr, like, wait a minute, the attack is 243 on Conkeldurr, and then Lucario is sitting at 236. So what do you mean Lucario's better? Well, Lucario has better moves. Aura Sphere is going to be where it's at. Conkeldurr does learn counter, and let's go ahead and take a look at all the fighters here so you can have a good idea, probably for the 70th time. Right, so Lucario at the top with counter, Aura Sphere sitting at 18.6 DPS, and then a TDO of 384. Conkeldurr with counter, thank goodness it got counter. I mean, if it didn't, it wouldn't be that great. Well, it would. Well, anyways, let's move on. Counter and dynamic punch on Conkeldurr with a DPS of 16.8 and a TDO of 501, way outpacing Lucario as far as enabling it to stay in the fight. But if you're like, well, hold on a second, Poke, Lucario is part steel, it's going to actually neutralize a lot of its weaknesses. Correct, but at the same time, Conkeldurr is a little bit buff, a little bit more buff. It has a more HP and defense than Lucario, and it's kind of evening out with that resistance that Lucario does have. Lucario is a bit squishy, so at the end of the day, it's taking pretty much the same damage. So, but I mean, it's undisputable that Conkeldurr is still going to be a fantastic Pokemon. I do encourage you to maybe have 1 or 2 on your team. Don't go and rush to make them, but I am, of course. And then you have Breloom, which is really squishy. We'll go past that one. And then Machamp with counter dynamic punch sitting at 16.2, and then a TDO of 434. So overall, yeah, Lucario is what you're gonna want now. Your Machamps are still good. Conkeldurr's coming in hot. Like, come on, let's go. Try me out. I can't wait to try out that funny looking clown fighter. Anyways, there we go. There is mine, sitting, waiting, and ready. I've been getting lucky friends left and right. Pretty excited about that because now we have these new Gen 5 Pokemon, and, well, I'm going to be able to do a ton of lucky trades. I can't believe, went to go eat with my son earlier today. I put a lure down, and a go plus this. I didn't even notice it. I was like, oh, okay, another shiny. Anyways, just wanted to keep you guys up to speed on what's going on with the new Gen 5 Pokemon here. And like I said, we're going to be breaking down a lot of these individually. I'll be bringing you a video and just showing you how well each one does perform so you know which one to pursue and what they're going to be good at. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.